Hey folks, welcome back to Sub2 Investor. My name is Hans, and in this episode I'll be talking about the critical importance of setting goals for yourself in your real estate investing business. I can guarantee you if you don't do this, you will not be as successful as you could be this year. Now stay tuned to see a ridiculous 7-year goal that I set for myself back in 2019 when I first got into real estate investing. It's laughable to look back on the goals I set for myself, but kind of endearing too, and I hope you'll find this episode inspiring for yourself, that if you haven't sat down already to think about where you want to be 1 year from now in real estate, then this video will motivate you to go do that. Stay tuned. Now it is a new year. Happy New Year to you. I always look forward to, at the beginning of a new year, getting together with my wife, getting a babysitter for the kids, and going to a coffee shop for a couple hours to write down our goals for the year and reflect on the previous year's goals. Now, I've always been somewhat of a goal-oriented individual. Back when I was a musician, I always had a mental checklist of the things I needed to practice to become a better musician, and having a system in my mind really helped me navigate how to practice and improve my playing. When I was a full-time academic in graduate school getting PhD, I had a similar goal-oriented mindset. I published about a dozen peer-reviewed articles and then 2 books. I always had a clear end date of when I wanted to have that manuscript submitted to the journal or the publisher, and that end date, having a clear goal set in my mind, helped me research and write more efficiently. It helped me know how I needed to be spending my time. Now, when I got into real estate in 2019, I had been listening to podcasts with investors talking about the importance of setting goals, writing down your goals in real estate with regard to real estate investing. And it all just made sense to me because it's how my mind naturally works. It's logical that if you don't have a clear set of goals, then you're never going to know if you have achieved your goals. And I really like the feeling of achieving a goal. It feels good. It's like a dopamine hit in your brain. And I might like that a little too much to a fault. But if you don't know what I'm talking about and this all sounds foreign to you, well then this episode is all the more important for you to watch and take heed to. So at the beginning of the year, I get together, if it's with a spouse or a significant other, or if it's just yourself, that's totally fine. And we have about 5 categories where we set goals for ourselves. Those are, I believe, if I can remember correctly, spiritual goals, personal goals, health goals, family goals, and business goals. Now, you can add or subtract categories. This video isn't about setting goals for your entire life. This video is about setting goals for real estate. And so it's within the business category where I put my real estate goals. Now, before I show you this 7-year goal I set for myself back in 2019, and I would encourage you to not only set like a goal 1 year from today, but especially with something as large as real estate investing, that you have a larger roadmap and template. 1 year out, yes, but 5 years out, 10 years out, and maybe 30 years out. Something like this, so that you can know how to even write your 1-year goals. But before I get into that, because I have a background in ancient Judaism and Christianity and have spent some time reading the Greek and Roman philosophers, I wanted to bring in a couple quotes. The first quote is from the book of Proverbs from the Hebrew Bible, and that is in Proverbs chapter 21, which says that the plans of the diligent lead surely to abundance, but everyone who is hasty comes only to poverty. But one thing to note here is that the diligent make plans. It is assumed that those who work diligently actually have plans, whereas the one who comes to poverty has no plans. There's no talk about any kind of plan for the one who is a sluggard or slothful or just acts hastily without thinking about what they're doing. The plans of the diligent lead surely to abundance, but everyone who's hasty, if we just run into things like real estate investing without thinking about the larger plan that we are pursuing, comes only to poverty. So don't be that person. I want to go to a Roman Stoic, Seneca, and give you another perspective. Seneca, a Roman Stoic philosopher, said that our plans miscarry because they have no aim. When a man does not know what harbor he is making for, no wind is the right wind. This is the image of being on a boat, a sailboat, and having no clear destination to where you're going, no clear harbor. And when that's the case, when we don't know where we're trying to orient ourselves, any wind that comes our way feels like chaos. We're not exactly sure if we're going the right way or the wrong way. Our compass is all out of whack. We might end up at somewhere we totally do not want to be because we didn't take a moment to breathe, relax, dream a little bit, and just step away from the daily grind, the minutia, to reflect on where do I really want to be 1 year from now. And when you do that, when you have a clear destination, well, then you know what to do with the various wins that come your way. You have an action plan. There will be no losses. There'll only be wins and learning opportunities. I have to say that born out of my own experience in setting goals, it works, guys. It really does work to set goals for yourself and have those goals in the back of your mind throughout the year. They're going to motivate you. If you need to print those goals out, laminate it, put it on your desk or on the wall to help remind you of where you want to be, well, then do that. I myself, I have a Google document that's easy to view. I can go in there at any time, at any place, and take a look at my goals. And it would be a great idea to quarterly, every quarter of the year, look at those goals and see how you're doing. But I can't stress enough that you do need to take a moment. You need to step away from your office, if it's away from your house, away from that place of routine. Go somewhere different and sit down for a couple hours and write out specifically how many deals you want to do this year, how much you want to make in passive income this year, and any further specific action plans, whether it be join a community or a coaching program. The goal could be as simple as do my first Sub2 deal in 2024. The previous year, 2023, I had a goal of doing my first Airbnb, which, guess what? We did it. And part of the reason why I did it was I knew back when we bought that property in June or July of 2023, I knew that we were already 2/4 of the way through, half of the way through the year, and that if I did not buy a property and create an Airbnb out of it, then the odds of it happening were drastically going down as the end of the year came nearer. So think about your goals, and you need to write these down. Don't just put it in your head because that's too haphazard. You need to be able to look back and remember when you were in your most relaxed, embodied self, when you were most at ease, when you had time to think, to have a vision, to dream a little bit, what you really truly wanted. Right? That's when you're writing these goals down. You don't want to write these goals down and think about your goals when you're sort of in the rush of the week, of the 9 to 5. That's your grind self, right? You want to be thinking about your larger self, any sort of hidden desires or wants that you've suppressed because of the harsh realities of life. You want to just let the air come in, oxygenate, and just kind of breathe and just open you up. And you want to have a headspace and a mindset that is open to possibilities. Now, on the other hand, you don't want to set your goals too high and unrealistically high, because if you do that, then you're going to be discouraged and you're going to maybe want to quit when you don't achieve any of those goals. So if you haven't done a creative finance deal so far in your real estate investing business, well, then maybe don't put down like do 20 Sub2 deals in 2024, right? It's possible that you could do 20 of them if you've never done one before, but I would start with a sort of modest goal, something that seems a little bit out of reach, right? Like a little bit beyond yourself. Like, you know, it's going to take a stretch. You know, it's going to take a lot of hard work and overcoming challenges and some pain, but it's attainable. So those are the kind of goals that I would encourage you to come up with for your real estate investing business. And it's going to be personal, right? I can't come up with these goals for you, but you need to come up with goals. For myself, I put down how many deals I want to do of a particular kind of transaction. So if it is a subject to wrap deal, sub2 to a contract for deed, or a wrap or a lease option, right? I might say I want to do 20 or 24 of those deals in the year 2024, and that gives me a target at which to aim. It might be a cash flow number goal. It might be, I want to have enough doors that produce for me an additional $3,000 a month of income. That might give you the space to do a couple rentals, a couple lease options, a couple Airbnbs, but you need to have some clear metric that you're aiming at. Now, let me show you back in 2019, a 7-year plan that I created for myself back when I set out, okay, this is how I'm going to attain financial freedom. If I can just do this, well, then I can, in 7 years, have enough income to be financially free. All right, but check this out. This is not one of my annual goals list. This was a goal plan that I set out that was like a 7-year trajectory, because we do need to do these annual goals. I like to look back. What did I accomplish? What didn't I accomplish? What are things I accomplished which I didn't even write down? And then what are some failures that I didn't even perceive? And how can I do better the following year? Yes, this is a good thing. However, also sit down and think about, in 7 years or in 10 years or in 30 years, where do I want to be with real estate? And at this point here, this plan, 7-year real estate plan that I have up on my screen, I was first getting into real estate. I had bought my first rental property, and I was really excited about the possibility of financial freedom in the sense of having enough passive income to cover my monthly expenses. And so for me, my monthly expenses were about $4,000. So I needed to come up with a plan to get enough properties that cash flowed me $4,000. Then I could be financially free. So take a look at 2019. I had one property cash flowing me $200 a month. Now, this was a rental property, mind you, and so my annual net rental income was $2,400. I thought in 2020, if I could buy 3 more properties and have 4 doors total, well, then I could have $800 a month in passive income and $9,600 total in annual net rental income. In the following year, 2021, I thought I can add another 3 properties and get 7 properties total. And at this point, I was not in the creative finance realm. These were conventional loans. My plan was to get 20 properties, 10 loans with my wife's W-2, and then 10 loans for myself. And I'd be putting down 20% on each of these properties. So I needed to be saving enough money in another area of my life to be able to fund all of these down payments. And that's where my mind was. So in 2021, if I could have 7 properties total at the end of the year, then I could have $1,400 of cash flow a month. Here would be my annual cash flow. 2022, I'd be up to 10 properties. 2023, I'd be at 13 properties. And you can look down, 2025, finally, I could reach financial independence. I could have 20 properties, be cash flowing enough to cover my base expenses, housing, food, cars, all that kind of stuff, with $4,000 a month. That would be 2 years from now. Now, what's absolutely bananas, guys, is that I reached my 2025 goal. I actually exceeded my 2025 goal in 2022. Because I discovered subject to and creative financing. It's absolutely insane to think that I had such a small-minded perspective that I wouldn't be able to do any more than 20 deals in 7 years. I had acquired at least 20 properties for my buy and hold portfolio by 2022, and well, the rest is sort of history. But what's great is that I had a target to aim at, and as my business continued continued, as I discovered subject to and seller financing, I quickly realized that, wow, I'm going to be able to scale my cash flow and the amount of doors I hold far faster than if I go this traditional route of putting down payments down on a property, placing a tenant, all this kind of thing. And so we need to be adaptive and flexible and be able to shift with the change of as we learn more and discover more and get more experience under our belt. Your goal might actually change mid-year, and that's totally fine. But you need to have something where you're trying to go for that thing, and until something else comes up, which is sort of a modification of that, or maybe it completely replaces it. For me, it's been a slow evolution from thinking I'd be a landlord my entire life to doing some wholesaling, doing some fix and flipping, and then learning creative finance and kind of be the bank strategy. Well, then eventually I locked it in. I said, this is what I want to do. This is how I'm going to scale legacy wealth. Cash now, cash flow and cash later for me and my family. And now I also have like Airbnb under my belt to a degree. I can go offset some of that income. So if you haven't already, clear a date in your calendar for 2 hours. Go out somewhere to a nice restaurant, to a coffee shop, to a park, nature, wherever it might be, and go reflect, breathe for a minute, reflect on your life, really where you want to be in 1 year, 5 years, 10 years from now, if you haven't done that kind of reflection already. And create a simple Google document. It doesn't have to be complex. It could just be a couple categories and several bullet points. And then as you move on throughout your year, let those expectations that you set for yourself sort of plague you and sort of motivate you to take action so that you can attain those goals. Don't overextend yourself. Don't shoot for the moon right away. Start somewhat small and attainable, and as you achieve those small goals, it could be as simple as signing up for a mentorship program. Boom, did it. Getting a contract. It could be as simple as reaching out to 10 motivated sellers a week and having conversations with them. Fine. Door knocking 5 pre-foreclosure properties a week. Fantastic. Those smaller goals that you're able to accomplish, you're going to begin to check those off the list and have a sense of accomplishment. And that's going to have a snowball effect that as you continue throughout the year, you're eventually going to attain those larger goals because you're motivated. You're a person who's taken action. You know where you're going. You know how to adjust the sails and how to navigate towards that destination, and you've made a concrete plan. That plan is probably going to change, and that's absolutely to be expected, but you don't know what you don't know, and that's why it's so important to just get in there, have a plan, but take action. I do like that phrase, ready, fire, aim. I like that phrase because it assumes that you're ready, that you've made a plan, but then you got to go fire, right? And then once you fire, you aim because you've got a little experience, you can readjust your plans and your goals, and then you can ready, fire, aim again, and it's going to be an upward trajectory toward success in real estate investing. So I hope that motivates you to take action this year, do some creative finance deals. If you like this video, please like it and subscribe. I do have a lot of great content coming for you this year. I'm very excited to release it. We have our coaching program up and running, and the complete beginner's guide to creative real estate investing course, which is almost complete. The first half of it's done, but it will be finished by the end of this month, Lord willing. If you haven't checked that out, go to my website, sub2investor.com, or just shoot me an email at hans@sub2investor.com if you're interested in getting my Sub2 purchase contract for free, or if you're interested in joining the mentorship program. Until next time, stay creative. Peace.